People actually still want to live here despite everything that's going on.
Right on the border of the Gaza Strip.
That is insane.
I'm literally looking at destroyed buildings, smoke from, I'm assuming, some military operations that are happening right now. 1 bomb shelter, 2 bomb shelter, 3 bomb shelter, 4 bomb shelter, 5 bomb shelter. That's a direct look at what rocket fire from Palestinian terrorists looks like.
You see his hair?
Yeah. It's made from rockets?
It's made out of rocket fragments. They do that a lot here.
Very eerie. This is a rocket that was fired from Hamas in the Gaza Strip. This is stuff of nightmares. It truly is. It's one of the more eerie things. Psychological distress that a kid goes through thinking about rockets all day falling on them, no?
There is, but somehow you're getting used to it and you understand that this is house, this is your home.
Strong Israeli woman right here. See that? These are bullet holes. Here we have a look. This is a very important thing to show off in Sderot. This is a bomb shelter. Shalom Chaverim, welcome back to Israel. We're currently in the town of Sderot, right on the border of the Gaza Strip. Everything you see behind me, that is the entire chaos and destruction of the Gaza Strip. Right in front of me. I'm literally looking at destroyed buildings, smoke from, I'm assuming, some military operations that are happening right now. Airstrikes potentially, and then the border fence of Gaza right there. I'm joined with a friend of mine. This is Alec. He is also a YouTuber based here in Israel. He does some incredible content, and he's got a lot of information about this area. He knows Israel a lot better than me, and so he's going to be showing me around a little bit today here in Sderot, so we can learn a little about the city. What's been your experience here so far since the 7th of October and everything that's gone on?
Well, I wasn't here on 7th of October. I was in Brazil with my travel vlog and all that. Came back. Definitely, it's been crazy. Nothing like I've ever seen before. And I've seen a lot of these rounds of fighting between Israel and Hamas in the past. I've been to Sderot a lot because I worked as a journalist here and been down here many times, dozens of times I would say. That's Sderot, by the way.
Yeah, that's the town itself. You were saying, Alec, when missiles are launched from Gaza, it takes, 15 seconds?
Yeah, you have 15 seconds here to get to shelter, as opposed to Tel Aviv, where you have
15 seconds.
A lot longer. You have 2 minutes in Tel Aviv.
It's an intense area, man. It's a very intense look at what's going on, and you can see the distance of where people are living here in Israel in Sderot to there. It's literally nothing. I mean, you could clear that walking in less than 20-30 minutes. You could walk that whole distance probably.
I think in less.
There is observation binoculars. I'm gonna see if I can. Looks like you can just tap your card onto this thing. Yep. I think that's it.
Wow, that is insane. That is insane.
Wait, I'm gonna see if I can film this real quick. That is gnarly.
That's it.
Wow. Holy shit, man.
It's sad.
It's crazy.
It's sad that it came to that. It didn't have to come to that.
Wow. Look at all the buildings destroyed. Wow. That is gnarly, man. Holy shit. Wow, that's crazy. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Hopefully I put some of that footage in the video for you guys to see, but wow. That's nuts. The level of destruction. You can still see some of the minarets from the mosques, probably on the coastline facing towards the beach a little bit, but the actual town, especially in the north, Gaza City, I'm assuming that's what we're looking at, right, is Gaza City. Wow. We'll be showing you guys what the reality of life sort of is like, what it's been like for the last 20 years for people who have been living down here. Obviously, two completely different realities for what's going on in Gaza and the people who live here. God bless, there is nowhere near the level of destruction in Sderot that there is in the Gaza Strip. I'm happy we have the IDF here protecting the civilians in Israel from that horrific reality. But the reality is, on October 7th, and for the first 2 months of this war, or now on month 5, there was immense amounts of heartbreak and destruction in this town, and a lot of lives lost.
You would think a city that's under so much rocket fire wouldn't be growing, but Sderot is actually, it's growing, and it's grown a lot in recent years. I mean, these are huge construction projects recent ones. People actually still want to live here despite everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Part of it is because Israel is so expensive and it's cheap here, and you get subsidies from the government to live here. They want people to go to the periphery, what's called, of Israel, and not just to live in the Tel Aviv area and so forth. So they give all kinds of compensations for people who are here.
I just want to mention being so close here to the Strip as well. I do have immense amounts of compassion for the people, especially the innocent people who are dealing with this horrific situation, because it really is a horrific situation. And you see it on the news, you see it on Instagram, something, but when you see it face to face, when you see it eye to eye for the first time, like, the destruction is right there. I can see it, you know, it's like you can see it clear as day. It looks like the apocalypse. I do have immense amounts of compassion for the people, the innocent people who are dealing with this stuff, but it is the price of this horrific war. It's a horrible war. It's a terrifying war. But I'm so proud and so happy that the IDF is fighting for the protection of innocent civilians in this area.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Hey, how's it going?
Where are you from?
Sort of Australia.
What was that all about?
So that's a crew from Australian TV. They've come here to do a documentary about the conflict, the war, so forth. Yeah, so I just went to say hi and stuff. I used to do that because I was a reporter here in Israel for over 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And was in Sderot many times because there are a lot of rockets that are fired at Sderot, and every time that happens, when there's something going on with Gaza, then they would send us down here.
Yeah, so here we have a look. This is a very important thing to show off in Sderot. This is a bomb shelter. You see here you have a mezuzah. Very tight, actually. Very small quarters. And it looks like there might be a wasp nest here. Maybe? I don't know. Which is scary. But yeah, this is one of the shelters that people have to when they have to hide from rockets, when they have 15 seconds to run. This is the area that you have to squeeze into. I guess this is a line drawn to show you where to stay behind, right?
They have a lot of shelters here in Sderot,
Yeah.
more than anywhere else. Actually, because Sderot is such a prime target, they have so many shelters here that in some other places in southern Israel, they're complaining why they don't have shelters like Sderot. So that's the thing that they complain to their municipalities here. Why don't we have bomb shelters like Sderot?
Actually, the second we drove into the town, and I'll show you guys some of that later in the video, you see so many bomb shelters. Some of them are different colors. Some of them have paintings on them. You know, it's interesting. They're on every single corner here. And it's really because, I guess, in the heat of war, you have to be on edge, prepared at every second to run into a bomb shelter.
Well, the interesting thing is that now, actually, in this war, it's very different than what has been in the past in Sderot. And I know because I've been in Sderot, for example, 2021, 2018, where there were these wars between Israel and Hamas, but Israel did not actually go in. They didn't go in with the soldiers like they did now and really take out the Hamas capabilities. So actually now, as terrible as things were at the beginning, now Sderot, at this moment, right now when we're here, is not that dangerous.
This is a sign that shows Derech zo movila le'ezor chasuf le'yeri tilim, which means this way exposes you to an area that you might encounter rocket fire, which is something important. It's a reality. It looks like a beautiful suburb with houses and nice people, nice houses. Then you still have reminders like this. You have bomb shelters on every corner and signs telling you to watch out for rocket fire. And that's something that people have been dealing with here in their daily life for the last 20 years. There's always been flare-ups or situations that are worse, but Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad has been firing rockets from Gaza Strip without warning, without the context of war, for literally the last 20 years into areas like this. Take a look here. These are some of the streets. Alec has been so kind but to drive us around today in his car, which is very nice. It makes transporting around here a lot easier. This is a little look at what Sderot looks like, the streets, the little neighborhoods. There's a big mix here between really nice houses, and then you can see clearly some older houses from many years ago. At the beginning of the country.
Because that's what happened. You had here this was kind of started as a ma'abara, which means it was sort of like a refugee camp for Jews that were coming from Middle Eastern countries.
It's actually where my grandparents lived when they emigrated to Israel.
Exactly, from Iraq.
From Iraq.
Yeah,
they lived in a
makes
ma'abara
sense.
for a long time.
And now Sderot has developed, and there's like more fancy, nicer buildings. You see his hair?
Yeah. It's
His
made from
hair
rockets?
is made out of rocket fragments.
Wow.
They do that a lot here. Available material.
They got a lot of available rockets here. A lot of available rockets. See, even here by the park, the little park, you had a bomb shelter. Constant reminder of where you are. So what you're seeing here, as you can see, there's a lot of developed city all around. You know, a lot of this town is developed here. You've got this, all of a sudden, you've got a sudden blank sort of lot here. And that's because this site was one of the sites of one of the worst sort of events that happened during the October 7th invasion of Hamas into Israel. Hamas terrorists actually barricaded themselves into a police station and started going onslaught on a bunch of police officers in Israel who were trying to protect the innocent civilians in this town. I guess it was damaged so heavily that they actually had to remove the entire police station. But you have flags here, I'm assuming, of some of the dual national police officers who were here. And you've got here a memorial for, I'm assuming, all the... well, here it says, Lezichoram shel hanoflim, which means for the memory of the fallen. The crazy part about all this is that it's really fresh. This is like... This just happened. This is very, very recent. This is the last, less than half a year since the events that took place and unfolded here and changed people's lives forever. The violence that happened here, the massacres that happened right here on this spot just a few months ago, it's crazy. And you can definitely feel the energy in here. It's shocking. You can see this is just some of the support columns, I guess some of the rebar from the support columns of the building that are left over in the site of what was the old police station here in Sderot. See that? Horrific, man. It hurts so much to see this. These are bullet holes. Shrapnel, probably. A lot of destroyed ceramic. It's just horrific, man. It's horrific to come to these areas. Absolutely horrific. To imagine the battle that went on in here, in this area. You gotta... I mean, it's like I was saying earlier, I think these are some of the nationalities of maybe other police officers or people who were in service here. You got the flag of Argentina, I believe. Then you've got Australia. And then Ukrainian flag there. Just horrific. It's got a Torah, the Old Testament scroll coming out of what I'm assuming was a police station that's on fire, with Hebrew letters going up into the air. Shows a tank sort of firing at the building. Again, the battle that went on here and the horrifying nature of what went on here is just, it's terrible to imagine. I remember on October 7th following very closely the news of this police station that was being raided by the Hamas terrorists. It was I remember following it in live too, because it was shocking to see that a lot of these police officers were being killed one by one. They were fighting to protect as many people as possible. But this whole area, you can see on all these buildings around, they're littered with bullet holes. There's bullet holes up here. Imagine just the people who live here in their everyday lives. So this lovely family just came by. They were giving me a little bit of explanation. They live on a village that was pretty close to Sderot. They've actually been evacuated since the beginning of their war because their village got raided by Hamas terrorists. They pointed out to us to a lot of places that are worth visiting. I highly suggest that you guys check out Alex's channel down below in the description, because he's actually interviewing a lot of local people. Tell me a little bit about what the people just told you. About what their experience. One of them was even a refugee. Now she was being moved to Eilat from here.
Yeah, so a bunch of people from down south have been living in hotels that the government provided for them. Actually, where I live in Jaffa, my neighbor, she's from southern Israel, and she's been living there since the war started. And she was just saying that it's really hard for her to live in a hotel. Like, she's got kids and this. Yeah. So they want to come back, a lot of these people. But it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to come back because, people are scared and also traumatized. But it looks like it's starting to happen. And that's what one of the guy there was saying, that people are starting to come back, and like life is kind of starting to return.
Yeah. You guys know how I always throw the ethnicities in there. So this family was a family of Moroccan refugees to Israel, which again, the irony of being a refugee to this country, most likely a refugee from Morocco, chased out of Morocco because of your ethnicity, because you're a Jew, to the land of Israel, and then being chased down by Islamic militants. Their house was right there. There's a bullet holes in their ceiling, in their roof. The irony of that is never ever lost on me. And but they still preached a message of resilience and perseverance through this. That things are going to get better slowly, which is really really nice to see. But I highly recommend you watch Alex's video down below in the description because it'll have way more of that insight of the local people. Non-stop pictures of eeriness here. We're literally going from bomb shelter to bomb shelter here. Here's a bomb shelter. We're right outside of Chabad Lubavitch of Sderot, which Chabad is an organization of Jews. We'll make a video about this in the future. I actually work very closely with Chabad in my day-to-day life.
This looked like a 19th century, I don't know, house in London or New York.
Yeah, this literally looks,
like
I think the design is to look like 770. If you guys didn't know, Chabad is an operation that's pretty much based out of Brooklyn in New York, but it's taken the world by storm with their kindness and compassion for Jews all over the planet. And their synagogue kind of looks like a replica of a building in New York. I'm assuming of 770. Yeah, there you go. You see the number 770 there. This, Alex specifically knew about this place to come here. Very eerie to look at this, but also shows the perseverance of Jewish people. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard about it. I actually had never seen it. That it's a Chanukiah, the holiday of Hanukkah, where you light the candles. That's made out of rockets that were launched at Sderot. And it says here in Hebrew, I see, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live, which is kind of like a sort of nationalist call that they have here a lot in Israel. And what are the candles made out of? Is this like
butane bottles?
Yeah.
But look at that. This is a rocket that was fired to kill Israeli citizens from Hamas in the Gaza Strip, which is very close where we started this video in the morning. Look at that. And this is what they made out of it. Unbelievable, man. It just shows you that they had enough to put together a beautiful piece of art like this. That's the amount that were fired here.
No, but this is nothing. Because actually there was a huge repository of rockets that have been launched over the years at the police station, the one that we saw that was destroyed. So I don't know what happened to all those rockets. I'd been there before when I worked here, when I came down one time, and I went inside because whenever they launch a rocket, you send in this squad to make sure that it's not dangerous, that there's no
that it's exploded
there.
already.
Yeah, nothing that hasn't exploded or so forth. And then you have to take the rocket somewhere. You don't just leave it lying around in the street. So they take it to the police station, that one that we saw, that was blown to bits. So they had their hundreds of these when I saw it. This is nothing. This is like very little of what they have here.
I also don't know for certain. I don't want to say out of my mouth, but it does look like maybe bullet holes. I don't know. I don't know if the terrorists made it this far up. A little testament to show you guys some perseverance. It's really dark, but really beautiful at the same time. This right here, while it may look like an ordinary park, and by all means it is one of the more eerie things we're going to see today in today's video. I actually got a great interview from a local woman here, Naama, who I'm going to play the audio of while I walk through here. So Naama, you're a mother from Sderot, right?
I was a mother in Sderot.
A mother in Sderot.
Now I'm living in another village in Otef Gaza.
And you were telling me to check out the park that's right here behind us.
Yeah, this is the first park I think in the world, which is protected park. And there was a period that there was sirens all the time, all the day, and we couldn't expect them. So it was a very long period that I had 2 small kids. And after daycare and kindergarten, we went home and didn't go out at all because all the time was sirens and everything was not protected here like today. I think the government or some donors planned this protected park, and all the worms are actually like shelters. And this was the only place that we could go out and play, like a playground for the kids. And we were here, I think, almost every day, every afternoon. All the kids, I think in Sderot, came here Was the only protected place outside the house.
It's the only place as a mom that you felt safe to bring your kids to play.
Yes.
But there's some sort of, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a mother, but I'm assuming there's a lot of stress, like
Correct.
psychological distress that a kid goes through thinking about rockets all day falling on them, no?
There is, but somehow you're getting used to it and you understand that this is house, this is your home, and here you're living, and this is the reality. This is how your living look like, how your life look like.
This is life.
This is life, yes. And I don't know. From now perspective, from like an older mother, I don't understand how I was able to live like this. Okay. But I have, let's say, a lot of good memories from this place, because this was a good solution for me and for my kids to have fun afternoon. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Strong Israeli woman right here.
Thank you.
It's insane to me that this exists. And very, very eerie. Like, the reality that kids, like Naama's kids, were living under conditions where they would come to play at a park and had to think about running into a freaking tunnel. Might I remind you that most of this country is made up not of colonizers or people that immigrated here for financial opportunity, but refugees from different countries from all over the world, both Europe, Middle East, North Africa, parts of Asia, because they were chased down for being Jewish. And this is a reality that 3-4 generations down, their kids need to deal with on their day-to-day basis, is living in conditions where they have to hide in concrete bunkers at a park for their life. This is stuff of nightmares. It truly is. It's one of the more eerie things. Like, they've made it look very nice, obviously, because it's made for kids, but that is a terrifying reality to be a part of. Absolutely horrifying. This is a children's park. It's supposed to be a place where kids come to enjoy, and they have to think about sirens and rocket fire from people who want to kill them just for being born here. No other reason. This is literally a bomb shelter. That's crazy, man. This is so eerie. Here it says in Hebrew, Bashma Hazakot Tzeva Adom. So when you hear the color red siren, Yesh Likanes Letoch Hamiginut Me'ever Lakav HaKatom. So basically, anywhere over the orange line. I'm assuming there's an orange line in here somewhere where you can run and hide. Yeah, I guess it's that from rocket fire. Right here. They're a little bit washed out. So imagine you're a child coming to play at a park with your mother or with your father, with your siblings, and you hear a siren, which is already traumatizing for a child to hear. You run in here into this weird worm thing and have to already pre-think about hiding in between these orange lines in case a rocket fire will land on you and hurt you or your family members. That's insane, man. That's crazy. I'm sad that the people and the kids of Sderot have to grow up in that environment because, and again, there's going to be haters in the comments who are like, well, look at the other side of the script and what's happening in Gaza and this and that. Again, Israel isn't Gaza and it shouldn't be compared to Gaza because it's not one and the same. We're not comparing the same side of the same coin. This is a completely different scenario. But kids in this country should not be thinking about running to bomb shelters or at their park. They shouldn't be thinking about survival tips. They shouldn't be thinking about sirens and rockets being fired at them for being who they are, for being born where they are, before they even get a chance to be a soldier, to work a job, to do anything in life.
If you want to hear something interesting, super interesting about Sderot, which is I talk to people here when I was down here many times, and Gaza used to be more open. It was kind of like what the West Bank, aka Judea and Samaria, aka Palestine, was for quite some time, where there wasn't that many borders. I'm talking about when it was under Israeli control and even quite a substantive military control in Gaza. But people were kind of moving back and forth to work, to do things, and a lot of people from here, from Sderot, would go shopping in Gaza in the 80s. It's crazy. They would go. There was an insane fish market there. There was even a party scene in Gaza, I heard. And there was a lot of going back and forth. It was actually after Israel withdrew in 2005. It started before that, but when Israel withdrew, that the two sides became completely disconnected. Like now, if you have a kid in Gaza, and most of the people there are under age of 18, they've never seen an Israeli person in their life.
Yeah, they don't know the reality.
That's not the case with all the older people. The older people have definitely met and seen before.
And some even speak Hebrew.
Yeah, and I actually talked to a guy here who told me about that. He was one of those guys who would go shopping in Gaza and things like that. And he even told me that he was in contact with them in these recent years.
Yeah.
When, you know, the bombings are happening on both sides and like checking that he's okay and stuff, because he was sort of like a friend, you know? So it's really, really complicated kind of how things are and how we got here. And the situation changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, to bounce off of what you were saying, it's funny actually. I grew up as a kid, especially when I lived here and when I would come here a lot. My grandparents, because they both emigrated to here from Iraq, spoke fluent Arabic. They would go to Gaza frequently with my mom and her sister and her brother. Frequently, my uncle and aunt, they would go to Gaza almost every weekend to do most of their shopping because the fruits and vegetables were way cheaper there, to get food. And because they were able to communicate with the Arab salespeople there a lot easier because they came from an Arab country. There used to be this element of peace and love, while extremism has taken over completely, especially since we barricaded each other away from each other. The history not so long ago was not that of consistent violence and war. There actually was a period of time where Jews and Arabs through Gaza did kind of coexist. Kind of. So we were put onto this by that the family of Nama, who we spoke to earlier. And she showed us, or they gave us the directions to come here. This is a direct hit on a building here. This is just a community center here in Sderot, but you can see this is what a rocket blast sort of looks like. As we spoke about earlier, they're not the most advanced built rockets in the world, but obviously... Depends which, but obviously if they hit you head on, it can be very dangerous. But that's what we were saying, the concrete bunkers give you a high chance of survival. But yeah, that's a look. Again, it's just a reminder of what the daily life of people in Sderot can be like. Women and children who are living here, civilians who are living here, not soldiers, just civilians who are living in this town, who need to deal with constant rocket fire. I think Alec was saying earlier, this is the most targeted city in Israel. Because it's directly connected to the Gaza Strip pretty much. So that's a look at what rocket fire looks like. Important to mention also that this is not from the recent incursion. This is not from the recent war. This happened many years ago. But I guess they've kept it like this as either a reminder or that just nobody's gotten around to repair it. But that's a direct look at what rocket fire from Hamas terrorists, from Palestinian terrorists looks like here in Israel. I just want to show you guys this bumper sticker as we're roaming around here. So it's Sderot Zabayit Sheli, and then it commemorates the 10th of October 2023. So here in Sderot, the continuation of our bomb shelter exploration. You can see some more, these are flower-themed bomb shelters. Again, you see how you enter here in the shelter. Here it says La'ezor Mugan, which means for the protected area. And this is your bomb shelter here. We've got in this area right here, we've got 1 bomb shelter, 2 bomb shelter, 3 bomb shelter, 4 bomb shelter, 5 bomb shelter, 6 over there, and then I saw 2 more down there. That's 8, and another one back there, 9. Potentially a 10th over there. I wasn't 100% sure. Every time you see one of these beautiful drawings to try to add a little bit of light in the darkness of what is the reality of potentially living in Sderot, what can be the reality of living in Sderot. I'll show you this one too down here because it's a bit more eerie to me than just these flowers. So this one's super eerie to me because for one, there's drawings here that are obviously supposed to relax the situation for a child, and you can see here these are doors. So on the, I don't know, it looks like there might be an alarm system in here. I don't want to trip it, but this is what it looks like on the inside. It's linked up with electronics and obviously this door that can lock as well. It looks like a pretty sturdy door. On the 7th of October, a lot of these were used for people to hide from all the incoming missiles. But what people didn't expect is for the Palestinian terrorists who broke into Israel to be actually throwing grenades inside to try to kill the people that were inside of these shelters, and they were shooting them up. So having a door on here adds another layer of protection. While it's not the strongest door in the world, it at least would stop a grenade the first time around from penetrating the inside of the shelter where all people would be hiding. This is the reality, you know. It is a reality on the ground, and I want to address one thing that I know is going to happen. This existing in Israel and people's reality of life here in Sderot doesn't negate the horrible experience that children in Gaza are experiencing right now. Two things can be true at the same time. People in Sderot could also be living in a horrifying reality, as well as the people in Gaza. Just because one level is on paper worse than the other doesn't mean that those two things can't exist at the same time. So if you want to leave a comment that says, well, what about the kids in Gaza? What about the Palestinians? You have to understand that this is a dual narrative reality. There's two different people groups living two completely different realities in this country. And this horrifying thing, because it is very eerie to look at, the fact that there's children's cartoons drawn in a freaking bomb shelter in 2024 inside of a sovereign territory of a country, it's crazy. But those two things can be real. They can both be true at the same exact time. I want to say a huge thanks to Alec. Check out his channel, Insightful Nomad, down below in the description. Thanks, man, so much for taking me along today.
No problem.
Show me the place. We're going to hopefully do some more collaborations together in the future.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, Klats.